Hello and welcome to yet another episode of the new series. My name is Pooja Dwivedi. Today we are going to discuss whip. What is a whip? In parliamentary parlance, what do we mean by whip? Is whip mentioned anywhere in the Constitution of India? What is the importance of it? There are certain issues related, and what is the way forward or the conclusion, and global practices as well. From the perspective of GS Mains Paper Second, we are going to follow all these topics under this segment. And the first one is, of course, the news. Why are we even discussing it? See, if you remember very well, we have covered it in our segments also. There was a political turmoil in Maharashtra between Shiv Sena, the certain members of Shiv Sena, and that versus those were against the Uddhav Thackeray regime. So a 5-judge bench, which is being led by the Chief Justice of India, is hearing a petition with respect to the political crisis in Maharashtra, and that actually was resultant in the division of Shiv Sena. Now what happens that through an oral explanation, the Supreme Court said that members of a house are bound by the whip, and if any section of MLAs within a political party that is a part of the ruling coalition says it doesn't want to go with the alliance, then the MLAs will attract disqualification. The 10th schedule of the Constitution talks about disqualification as an anti-defection law. This was stated orally by the Apex Court on February 28, and there is still hearing going on about it. Now, if we talk about whip in parliamentary parlance, it can refer to either a written order to a member of a party of the House or a designated official of the party who is authorized to issue such a direction. So there are supposedly 50 MLAs. In that, I am appointing one person supposedly as a monitor of the class. So that monitor is known as a whip. Other than that, it can also be a written order. Now, it originated by the old British practice of whipping in lawmakers to follow the party line. That means to make them toe the line, that this is the line you have to follow and you cannot go outside it. Moving ahead. Now, a whip may require that party members may be present in the House for an important vote. In order to show a support for and against about any certain law, there is a quorum needed, and if the persons of a party are absent, then the majority, or we can say the dominance of that party, comes into question. So that is why a whip wants that this number of people should be present for us. Then or they first this or that they vote only in a particular way. I am telling as a whip to our members that please vote in this direction only, so that we can be seen in a coordinated manner and not in a fascist manner. Some people are going there, some people are going there. So this should not happen. In India, all parties can issue whips to their members, and parties appoint a senior member from among their house contingents to issue whips. And this member is called a chief whip, and he or she is assisted by additional whips as well. So it's a monitor and a group of sub-monitors. Now, a political party has the constitutional authority to issue whip under the 10th schedule, the anti-defection law, anti-defection schedule, that is 10th one. Under this only, whips may be given. The position of whip is not specified in the Constitution, neither it is there in the House rules or a parliamentary statute, but they are based on parliamentary government's convention, the practices, the tradition, and it's a you can say mutually agreed upon by the different parties. Moving on. Now, why do we even need a whip? See, a house needs to formulate laws. For that, we should ensure that effective, efficient operation of the business should happen in the house floor. So for that, we have a whip. Party members are there in big numbers, and winning their support for or against an issue, another problem for a whip to look at. Then maintaining the order among the party representatives, the ideology, even though if there are certain minor differences, the ideology should remain the same. If the ideology is not working for any member of the party, they can move away from that party. Also, the whip we need the whip to adhere to party lines to ensure that MPs cast their vote along the party lines. That is why, for that reason only, it could be seen that a party has a single narrative, a single ideology. MPs are aware of the party's position regarding the members' mood. It is important through whip only the major stakeholders of the party can know what is the current mood of the party. So whip acts as a channel also. Moving on, now functions again. He or she also serves as an advisor to the party as well as counselor. He or she is in charge of upholding the internal party structure in the parliament and acts as a binding force within the party. So this is the importance of whip. Now we can say function as well as importance. Importance as in, first of all, we need for any democracy to thrive is to ensure that there is also internal democracy. So the internal structure of the parties within the legislature, for that we need a whip. For effective and seamless operation of the state and central legislature also, whip acts as a crucial channel for information between the House Speaker and the members of the governing party. Also in maintaining close contact with the whips of the other parties when it comes to parliamentary floor. So it is important that different whips come together to ensure what do they want to do for the best of the country. So for that also it is important that as representatives, whips are important. Now, there are many issues that have been flagged with respect to whips. See, as a country, we have ensured that every citizen should have the freedom of expression, but a whip needs every member of a party or the designated whip to show a similar ideology, to show a similar vote. So it is against that. He or she frequently restrains a party member's freedom of choice. A member of parliament who disobeys the party whip risks being expelled from the house. This is the, you can say, very important power of the whip. If you don't listen to the whip or don't abide by the written whip, you can be expelled. Then, although during presidential elections, whips cannot order MPs or MLAs to cast out their vote in certain ways. So this is a preliminary fact. Now, because of the whip system and anti-defection rule, MPs are reduced to not individuals, but similar like head counts. What do we call them? Head counts, if they do not have any sort of representation as an individual. Now, global practices, we can talk about two global practices, UK and US. In UK, breaking the 3-line whip leads to person's expulsion from the party, the written one. Member may continue serving as an independent member of parliament until the party accepts him or her back to the party. For USA, to count the number of MPs who support and oppose a particular piece of legislation, whips are important, and whip tries to urge the members to vote along party lines after the measuring of such members. Now, in conclusion, we can say that UK's free vote system can also be adopted by Indian Parliament, in which at least individuality of the members are maintained. A whip system actually is a necessary evil so that stability and effective governance in the party is there. To preserve the democratic nature of the parliamentary system of the government, it is important that the internal democratization happens and not dictatorship. So that's it. Thank you so much for watching.